This episode is brought to you by Prime Video. In the small town of Holland, Michigan, nothing is ever what it seems. Behind the tulip festivals and pretty houses lay dark secrets that threaten to tear a marriage apart. Nicole Kidman stars in this darkly twisted thriller about a wife and mother whose quest to uncover her husband's secrets may get her more than she bargained for. Holland, streaming on Prime Video March 27th.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, if you guys remember a racing game that I was talking on since September, and I was heavily critical on that game. No, it was the video game Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. So recently they came out with an update. And I will just say this much, I guess, to sum up this whole episode. They came out with an update to overall fix the game. And I will say this much, the game is fixed. It's in a much more better state now compared to how it was when it originally came out. And my thing is this. I'm like, fam, the update that came out recently, because I think it was the 19th when that update came out, that should have been like the very first update out for that game. Because that's something where I'm like, look, I don't know. I guess like, yeah, when it comes to video game development, there are key features that it should have been discussed and talked about prior before the game coming out. But it just seems like that nowadays that you got a lot of different developers where they just refuse to listen to their audience. And I'm like, okay, well, don't be surprised or, don't be upset if we start criticizing the game. Because to me, that just don't make no sense. You guys had, how long was this game in development? I think it was in development for 4 years or something like that. I think that's what I seen when I had looked it up. How long was Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown in development? How long has Test Drive? Okay, there we go. All right, so 6 years. All right, so they said the lunge is culmination of over 6 years. So overall they were saying, yeah, it's been in development for over 6 years by a little over 90 developers, animators, designers, artists, and many other. My thing is this: you had that many people working on the video game, and you mean to tell me that for some odd reason you thought that it would be a good idea to not add an offline mode, or to, and the thing is this, like, so they did add it, but at the same time, it's like, it's more so for the races. So you would have to get into a game, and then you would have to choose an offline race. I don't know why they didn't just have it set up where it's like you make that choice before you get into the game, rather. Because my concerns is that, all right, so let's say there's a day where my internet starts acting weird or something. My thing is this: if I'm streaming, my stream may shut down, but at least I would still be in the game. Now I might be upset because usually when I play video games, I play them when I'm streaming or recording videos. I don't usually just be playing unless I'm like testing it out and stuff. But other than that, I'm like, no, that's usually when I be playing games. But my thing is like, I might be in the middle of a race and I'm like, okay, let me just finish out this race and then come back to it whenever my internet starts working. I'm not trying to have it where I'm playing this game and then all of a sudden, because my internet done went out, therefore it's like, oh, I gotta lag out of the game and stuff. I don't like that. I don't like when developers do that with games where they just make the game online only. And I'm like, bruh, you're gonna have to understand that there are people out there that don't just be playing online only games. They like to play games offline. That's why you still see till this day where single player games be coming out. But I don't know. What do I overall know about gaming? I feel like I say stuff like that, but it's just developers they don't listen. So that's why I'm like, I know that day does come where I get into video game development. Trust me, I am going to be, because I'm like, these are the same people that are going to be buying this game. I want people to have fun with it. They can overall say good things about the game, But anyways, But no, overall though, so yeah, let's just kind of go down a little for those that don't really know what's going on and stuff. So anyways, back in September, Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown comes out. I did play because they did come out with a demo beforehand, so I did play. Well, it was a beta test thing. So you would think like, okay, like there's probably people even talking about it then, but probably not as much as it was after the game came out and stuff. So anyways, but yeah, overall though, the game comes out. I buy it because I'm like, I was a big fan of Test Drive Unlimited 2 when it came out back on the Xbox 360. And a matter of fact, I went out and bought an Xbox 360 because, so the thing was this, I know that it would have cost, well, hold on for a second. I don't know how much it would cost. Well, I think because I don't think it's backwards compatible and stuff with the Xbox Series X. So I would have, regardless, I would have had to have gone out and buy me an Xbox 360 if I wanted to play Test Drive Unlimited 2. But no, I did remember that I had bought that game digitally on my Xbox 360, or at the time when I had an Xbox 360. So yeah, I was like, I know I own this game. I would like to play this game. I don't know why Xbox hasn't done no stuff where the game is backwards compatible, but anyways, regardless, I'm like, all right, let me just go ahead, go up to this retro game store that I be shopping at and get a 360. Lucky enough, thank God, you know, I did have, well, no, they did have a, it was pretty dope too. They have like a Star Wars edition Xbox 360, and it was like the second, to last models that they came out with. So I know I'm going to be able to have this, Xbox 360 for some time. But anyways, yeah, and I played it and I was like, man, it brought me back to a moment, you know, where I'm like, I'm a high school kid staying up in the middle of the night playing me some video games and stuff, knowing I got to go to school in a few hours. So anyways, but yeah, overall though, I'm like, nah, man, you know, it was pretty dope playing too. And I'm like, all right, so, you know, let me go ahead and play Solar Crown. So Solar Crown comes out, didn't like it, wasn't a fan. And I'm like, I don't know what the idea was with this game, but I'm not feeling it. And you know what was crazy was that, so I'm criticizing the game. Because I spent the most amount of, well, not the most amount of money, but I bought the most expensive version of the game, which is like the gold or premium, whatever they want to call it, things. But overall, it's the most expensive edition of the game. So it's, yeah, it was like $89.99 after tax. It was like $90-something and stuff. So I spent almost $100 for this game. Now, explain to me, why is it a problem if I criticize this game and I just spent $90 for it? My thing is this, it ain't no different if you go out and you buy a car and there's all these defects and malfunctions and all these issues and problems and bugs within the car and stuff. I'm like, fam, you gonna complain about that. You're not gonna be all like, oh, well, I'm gonna give a Chevy or Ford some time. No, I'm gonna get in a car accident. You know, my thing is this, if it's an issue where my gas done locked up, so I'm just speeding down the road, my windows keep rolling up and down, so there's gonna be days where it's all like, you know, if it's hot outside and it's like, yo, or cold outside, I'm just getting this unnecessary amounts of cold wind hitting me and things. But it's a convertible, the top keeps going up and down and things. I'm like, I ain't trying to deal with all of that. You know, I'm just trying to get me a normal working car that I'm satisfied with. Now, switching gears back over to video games, this game ain't working properly. I'm not a fan of it. I spent $90 and that's money that I'm not gonna get back. I am stuck with this game. So how do you think most people are gonna react to some stuff like that? How do you think most people are gonna react? You spent $90 on a video game and the video game don't even work properly, or it's not developed to your likings. And I know, like, yeah, at the end of the day, a video game can be developed however it wants to be developed, but at the end of the day, if I'm spending money on this game, fam, I just want an experience that I can enjoy. Now, with a racing game, because, so for those that don't know, I've been playing racing games all my life, all right? I've been playing racing games ever since I have held a controller in my hand. I have always, probably on almost every platform, I'm trying to think, I probably did have some racing games. I would have to go and see, but I feel like I might have had some racing games on the Game Boy Advance. If not, that would probably be the only platform where I didn't have any racing games, but I feel like I did, though. I don't know. I have to check, but I don't know. Actually, you know what? No, I think, didn't they have like a racing mode in one of them like Game Boy Sims games? I think they did. I will have to check again and stuff. Feel like they did have some racing stuff. But anyways, regardless, overall, I done played a lot of different racing games throughout my life. I've been playing racing games ever since I was before preschool. I'm like, no, I vividly remember being over at my grandfather's house, because my uncle, he had like a lot of different video games. So I remember from playing on like his console, from playing on my parents, because my parents, they had a Nintendo 64. But I vividly remember me as a kid playing video games with my uncle and playing video games with my parents. And one game I remember playing a lot of was Mario Kart. Playing that as a kid. I'm like, fam, I'm over here like still writing letters to Santa Claus and stuff, but you would have thought I had a whole professional racing license when the way I was playing Mario Kart. And there was even some other racing games I remember having on the Nintendo 64. But anyways, fast forward, I get a little bit older. My dad goes out and gets me a PlayStation 2. First game that I get on the PlayStation 2 is Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero. Then PlayStation 3. No, actually, no. Before that, because I did have the PSP. So, anyways, but yeah, PSP. I'm trying. Oh, Gran Turismo. I remember they came out with Gran Turismo, Midnight Club. What else? And that was just on that. But I'm like, with the PS2, I'm like, fam, yeah, I had like this Ford racing game, Midnight Club. I had Midnight Club 2, Dub Edition and Dub Edition Remix. What are some other racing games I had on the PlayStation 2? Yeah, I had quite a few on there. PlayStation 3. I'm trying to think what racing games I have on the PlayStation 3. Well, I know now I have like the Gran Turismo games. Now I have them, but back then I'm like, I can't remember what racing games I played on the PlayStation 3. But anyways, then I get me an Xbox 360, Xbox One. Then I get into PC gaming. Fam, I done played so many different styles of racing games, from realistic racing games to unrealistic racing games, simulation racing games, simcade racing games, arcade racing games. I done played so many different racing games. So anybody that's telling me, and this is where I'm talking on like people getting on me about criticizing the game, people telling me, oh, it's just a skill issue, it's just a skill issue. I'm thinking to myself, no, you just don't know what you're talking about. But I know what I'm talking about. I done played a lot of different racing games. I ain't never had the issues with racing games I have with Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. So there's obviously something going on. You may want to defend this game, but I'm not going to. If I spend $90 on the video game and I'm not satisfied, I'm going to talk about that. All right. So anyways, but no, I do remember when somebody, they called me a Forza fanboy, and I'm thinking to myself, well, at least Forza allows you to play the game offline. At least Forza has a difficulty settings. At least Forza has well over 100 cars in their game. At least Forza doesn't have it set up where you spend $90 on the game and you ain't even satisfied. Fam, you could just go and subscribe to the Xbox Game Pass. You ain't even gotta buy Forza Horizon or Forza Motorsport. Them are two games that you can play in its entirety without putting a dime towards the game. Towards the Xbox subscription, yes, but towards the video game, no, you don't have to. So if you want to call me a Forza fanboy, then I'm like, so be it. At least I had fun with that game. All right, so anyways, but yeah, I was criticizing the game and people were getting upset about it. And it's funny because those were the same people that most likely had stopped playing the game, and they turned around and said the same things that I was having issues with. The game ain't got no difficulty settings. Why am I always offline or online? Why don't they have a big selection of cars? Why do I have to be a certain level just to do upgrades or even get cars, when the thing is this? I went out and bought the most expensive edition. I should be able to use whatever car I want to use. No, they have it set up where you gotta reach a certain level before you're able to use whatever cars you bought through a DLC. So there were cars that I wasn't able to use up until now after this update, where I'm like, man, I wish they would have allowed me to use these cars back then versus now, where I'm like, back then, it's like they would have just did the updates back then. I'm like, I could have had a lot more hours into this game, but they didn't. So it's like, it was one of those games where I say, you know what? You guys got until this deadline to do whatever updates you need to do to this game. But I'm saying, if my thing is this, if you don't do nothing with the game, then I'm going to make a drop a video saying that the game needs to, people need to boycott the game. Because I'm like, to me, that just don't make no sense. You know that there's issues with the games. You're not trying to address the issues. You ain't trying to respond to people, but you're willing to like, oh, let's post screenshots, do this, do that. And I'm like, fam, to me, it's like, that's okay. So imagine it talking to the developers, because I feel like the developers will hear this and they will feel a certain way. Imagine if I was a sponsor, or I was somebody that was funding the video game. You guys are looking for, did all this work for the video game, right? Or yeah, let's say I'm the publishers for the video game. So I'm supposed to pay you guys to develop this video game, right? And you develop the video game. It ends up being a like blockbuster video game. It ends up being one of the greatest racing games of all time, if not the greatest racing game of all time. You guys put blood, sweat, and tears into this game, right? And then you're looking at me for a paycheck. I'm ignoring you guys, but I'm posting on social media saying, oh, look at me in Dubai on some private jet or something. Oh, look at me at Disney World with my friends and family. You know, you guys are gonna feel a certain way about that, where it's like, I mean, they wasn't doing that, but still posting on social media and ignoring the fans, where it's like, what's going on with the game? Like, where's the development at? You know, like, what are you guys overall doing? It's like, all I see is you guys just posting screenshots of random stuff. I don't see no development update with the game. So then that's when I seen that some time ago they said that they were going to be coming out with an update fixing the game in March right now, March 19th. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll test the game out then and see what it's all about. But ain't no promises if I'm sitting down playing it, because I'm like, I know there's Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming out. Then there are going to be some other games that's going to be out at that time. So I'm like, I'm most likely going to be heavily into those games. So anyways, they come out with this new update, finally added difficulty settings to the racers, because I'm saying there shouldn't be no situation where it's like I have a fast like muscle car and I'm getting beaten out by like other like, you know, like cars that are a lot slower than like, so for an example, because I'm just going to use this because somebody, they did try to like get into an argument with me about when I was playing Test Drive before this update. I remember this guy was trying to get into, he was trying to argue with me that Mini Coopers are faster than Mustangs. I'm like, fam, you may be able to argue with this about somebody that don't really know too much about cars, but you're talking to somebody. I'm like, fam, besides gaming, I've grown up around like, you know, family members that know about cars. I'm like, I have like car ties to both sides of my family, mom's side and dad's side. So it's like having it where somebody is trying to educate me on cars. I find that funny, you know, like that's something where I'm like, the thing is this. And with Mustangs in particular, that was something that I was like, I remember when I was in school and I was willingly studying about Mustangs. Like I was learning about like Boss 302 Mustangs, Shelby GT 500s. There's this one Mustang that they came out with called like the Mustang 1000, where I think it was like had like 1,000 horsepower or something like that. Where's some other, then the Mustang GT, Mustang Cobras. Like I was learning so much about Mustangs, and it's funny because it was all because I had watched a music video of it was the guys that did the song Teach Me How to Dougie. They came out with an song where it was like this kind of like, it was like a well, at that time being, I don't know, like YouTube, it wasn't like how it is today where, you know, people are a little bit, they they think a video through before they just go through with it. Back then it's like whatever idea you had on your mind, you was gonna do it. Not saying that there was anything wrong with the video, and matter of fact that it was because of those guys. Like, and I know people will probably be all like, fam, out of all people, that's who you gonna credit when it comes to your like fans of being a, like, no, I'm not even, I'm telling you guys, I am not lying when I say this. The group that came out with the song Teach Me How to Dougie is the reason why I am into Mustangs today. I should do a story time explaining that and stuff, but yeah, those guys, because it was the one, I don't know if I would call him the lead singer or rapper of that group, but it was, what was that guy's name? Dang, I can't even think of his, hold on for a second, I think his name was like Smooth the General or something like that. Hold on for a second. Cali Swag District, I think it was Smooth the General. Wait, was his name something else?
You've maxed out your 401k. You're contributing to an IRA and making some other investments. You're ahead of the game and doing well. But where do you go from here? The same old story can only get you so far. If you want a new take from a new type of financial professional, we invite you to get a fresh perspective beside an agent with the backing of New York Life. Insurance, investments, retirement, and more. Visit nyl.com to learn more. Investments are offered through registered representatives of NyLife Securities, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC, a New York Life company.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
Hold on for a second. Let me look it up. No, yeah. No, yeah, it was him. Okay, I was like, I just had to make sure real quick. But anyways, no, yeah, he had like this really nice I think it was like one of them like was it a '04 Mustang? It might have been a '04 Mustang. But anyways, regardless, I remember but they came out with that music. There was like a music video where it's just like a bunch of different like clips and videos of like cars and stuff, but they had Mustangs in there. And I remember there was one particular part. Did I say the name of the video? It was like Burn Out Drive Fast. I think I don't remember saying the name, but anyways, that was the name of the song. And then they had the music video. But anyways, there was a part in there where it was like a Mustang that was drifting. And I was like, I remember watching that and I'm like, bro, that looks sick. And so from that point on, I remember I was like watching videos with Motor Trends. I was watching, I think it was like Car and Driver or something like that. Car, Driver, whatever the name is. But anyways, Car and Driver, I think that might have been the name of that channel. But anyways, I was watching so many different videos of like Mustangs going up against Camaros, beating them out, no problem. Mustangs going up against Dodge Challengers, beating them out, no problem. And then getting into watching the movie Need for Speed. Now I learned even more about cars, and then just from like video games, playing games like Car Mechanic Simulator and Automation. I'm trying to think, Gran Turismo. I've played so many different racing games, and it's like then studied so much about cars. I'm like, bro, that's one thing that you are not going to be able to argue with me about are cars, unless you know, like, unless you are a much older individual. Like, what was them one dudes that, dang, what's the name of those guys where they it's like these like older guys, and I think it's like a group of friends, and they always be doing stuff where they be driving cars and stuff. I would have to say those are probably like a car enthusiast. Like, you would have to be a car enthusiast. But if you're not a car enthusiast, how does that look, you arguing about cars and stuff with me? So that's why I was like, yeah. But anyways, but what was the point? I was making a point, and I'm like, yeah, I got way too carried away. But overall, though, getting back to Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, yeah, I would say, like, so yeah, I did download the game again after this update came out, and I played it, and yeah, now seeing that they do have it where you can play, like, the races offline, and then you can also play, what was it? And then change the difficulty settings. Yeah, I would say that the game is in a much more better state now. I'm like, fans, like, took y'all long enough, but hold on for a second. Let me see where the player count is at the moment. It's probably at a much more higher player count and things. But anyways, let's just see. Yeah, they got like 500 people in the game right now. So they might say that that's bad, but I'm like, nah, bruh. To me, I'm like, that's good. That's good that y'all got that going for yourself. I'm like, hopefully, my thing is this. Hopefully in the future, like, yeah, you guys just add a little bit more stuff into the game. And then, yeah, just overall, like, I have to say that's probably the only thing that I can really see them doing is just adding more stuff to the game. Once when that's accomplished, I'm like, all right, cool. You guys got a good video game going and stuff. Do I see it competing with Grand Theft Auto 6? I would originally I was saying no, but I'm gonna change it from no to I don't know because I gotta see what you guys are gonna come out with. Like I have to actually see it that you guys beat out Grand Theft Auto 6 in sales. Once when I see that, then I'm like, okay, cool. Then I can say some I'm like, all right, you guys got something good going on and things, but. Anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service. And peace.